Just basically, reflecting on kind of the year and how much of a blessing it's been to be able to work with Coach Turk and Coach Jake and the staff that we've had and the teammates have been great. And just understanding that, that was an opportunity within itself. And kind of looking forward to the future and just seeing what's on the table, what our options are. There's been a lot of changes, every day, every week. And so just yesterday, the Olympic Games got postponed. And so all these changes are continuously changing the plan for the future. And so basically reflecting, finding ways to, plan and organize and position ourselves for success in terms of what our next steps are, what our future plans are as a team, as a community. Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, Sky Ritchie from the News Gazette. With this being an Olympic year and the way your season was going, what were your expectations? Maybe just for the trials and maybe a shot there. The way you've been winning. I guess in indoor.
I think we had a great opportunity to make the Olympic Games this year. Coming off 9 months of having difficulties training before and coming into the summer with a minimum amount of training. I think we trained consistently for about 3 months, and the coaching staff was able to get me to a level where I was able to compete at a high level. I placed third at USA Championships last year in the high jump. I went to a senior USA meet within a different country, Belarus, and I was able to place fifth there with an Olympic trial qualifier. And so, that's going into a full year of working with an incredible team, an incredible staff, and giving ourselves an opportunity to use that momentum to go into the Olympic trials and compete at the Olympic Games. And so, looking at that, I was definitely, my expectations were high. I had high goals for the season in terms of the level we could compete at and the marks we could get and things of that nature. But looking at that, it is kind of everything's changing. Everything's changed now, and so expectations have changed, have been elongated, and so that's all I kind of have to say on that. But yeah, our goals are high, and this year has been an incredible year in terms of winning the long jump and even potentially winning the long jump at the Big Ten, even potentially considering, okay, where are we going to be at the Olympic trials for the long jump? Where are we going to be for the high jump, and just continuously finding opportunities within different events that other people might not have noticed, but my coaches put me in an opportunity to be able to consider those events in the future. And now we aren't going to be able to see the progression of that this year, but yeah, it was definitely an incredible momentum that we had going into the trials.
How heartbreaking is it just knowing that maybe you were in you had a shot to be at the Olympics, and now it's at least not happening for now, and maybe your build up and your path to get there is altered now.
I've lived a life of challenges and adversity as many people have, and so this being a heartbreak, yes, is disappointing, and yes, we have goals and expectations that we expected to meet and to be given the opportunity to go after. But as we know, as humanity, life, every day isn't guaranteed. Life isn't guaranteed, and so even though it is disappointment, I'm still here and have a lot of blessings and have a lot of things to be grateful for. And so, yes, it is disappointing not being able to go out there and achieve, but we do have the Olympic Games aren't canceled; they're postponed. And so people do have another year to train. And so, even though for some people that might be a disappointment because they have momentum. Well, this is an opportunity for a lot of people as well. To be able to work on some things, put some things together. Heal up. I know a lot of athletes, especially in track and field, which is underrated, go through a lot of injuries at not the opportune times. And so I think I read something yesterday. I forgot, it was USA thrower, and he was basically stating that he doesn't want to compete against people who are in these situations and I'm kind of within that. I'm definitely within that goal too. Just making sure everyone's in the best environment to train and be at the best of their ability. Because I would hate for someone to just be, taking away like an opportunity and giving less of a chance than someone else because of a certain circumstance. And even though some things we can't control, we can to some extent control the outcome of when we can place Olympic Games, when we can give people an opportunity times to get the fair chances to qualify, to compete, and to medal, and then kind of look at it that way. So yes, it's disappointing, and I think it's disappointing for everyone across the board. But we got to look forward, and we got to look at the opportunities that we have, and we got to be grateful for them.
Is there, maybe as a jumper, is there a way you can train on your own throughout all this? And are you back home or are you on campus right now? What's kind of the plan for the foreseeable future here?
I'm back home, and most of our athletes are back home as well. For the foreseeable future, we tend to find ways to get work in, to find ways to work out, whether that's, in our backyard or in a parking lot or in an empty parking lot, let's keep it safe here. But overall, like we find a way to really get the work in. Being track and field, there are simple, you might not can do everything, right? Like 400 runners might not have a track, hurdlers might not have hurdles, throwers and people who jump within, the sand or the high jump pit may not, or the pull up, may not have bars or implements to be able to get those type of exact, exercises or workouts in. But there are other avenues. So I use potentially even, when we go home for winter break and we don't have necessarily all the resources, all the facilities, we do find ways, going out in the cold in the winter, training in parking lots, training in the fields and things of that nature. And so that's what I imagine that a lot of our athletes will find a way to do is find a field, find an athlete find a field, find an area where you aren't surrounded by a lot of people you're respecting, the policies that's being, advised by the government, by local government officials, and just being safe. I think that is of importance, but there are opportunities to do it within a respectable boundary.
Jonathan, Coach Turk talked about the position you're in, as a senior, and given the question of eligibility and everything, he said like it was an opportunity, in some sense for Carolyn. That he doesn't even know if it's really fair for you guys to be in this situation. Just what goes into making that decision for returning or not? I know you said you kind of liked the build up to the Olympics that you would have had, with your season schedule leading into trials and everything. Just what are you thinking in that sense?
It's difficult to tell, for Carolyn, just having such a job like that, an opportunity to be able to move into the workforce and be a contributing member and just to do what she's been working, 4 years to set herself up to do. In her shoes, it would be very difficult. Mine, it's a little different. I didn't necessarily have, an established job set up for next year. I think that nature. I do have a little bit more flexibility and to think about other options in terms of what can go into next year. I can't necessarily speak on collegiately whether I'll be able to compete on next year or compete with the team or compete in that arena. But it's just everything's open right now, and that decision doesn't just necessarily include me. It includes my family. It includes my coaching staff and basically the close people around me, because anything could happen within the next 3 to 6 months, and let alone 12 to 18. So we're going to play it week by week, month by month, and put together the best plan that we can to be successful in any arena. And so it is disappointing to think about. Okay, what if what will be our opportunities next year? What will happen next year? What will be? We just don't know. And so yeah.
Coach Turk talked about kind of just how obviously it was a tough emotional time too, just for the country and for you guys and for people everywhere. How how have you and maybe some of your teammates handled this emotionally? Because obviously it's tough.
Yeah, we have a heavy base freshman team, and so we have a young team, and so for the seniors leaving, is really disappointing because a lot of them put in a lot of work and a lot of time, had a lot of plans for next year. So coming for another year is not really an opportunity, not really an option for some of them. Cost wise, financially, things of this nature, and we'll see what the NCAA comes up with how they're going to allocate the funds and things of this nature. But the teammates were pretty much sad, and how can you not be? You put in, and for our sport, you work all year round. For the most part, with very little breaks in between. And so you're basically working all year round to train and work and to ultimately achieve your goals. And when your goals are taken away from you from circumstances like the virus and what's going on in our world, it's disappointing. And so a lot of our teammates are disappointed. A lot of our teammates are understanding, though, of the situation, and they understand what needs to be done. But it's kind of what our nation is feeling right now, with people losing jobs, with people losing, getting their careers cut short, and things of this nature. I think as a whole, as a society, as a humanity, like we're really feeling it, kind of as a whole. So I don't think it's different from feeling that pain.